Hello everyone, my name is Darius Young and welcome to Modeling Lucario Part 9. Except we're not actually modeling him. We are going to be rigging Lucario in this tutorial. So, let's get started. So with your cursor in the center here, let's change this from material to solid just so that it doesn't mess up when we're trying to rig him. And so let's just hit Shift A. Armature human meta rig. If you don't have that enabled, just go to File, go to User Preferences, and then scroll down to Rig, and then enable Rigify. Just click the checkbox right there. You don't need all this other stuff. Just check Rigify. Then you Shift A, add armature human meta rig. There we go. You're gonna scale this up. About right there, and then we want to hit Control A and apply the scale. Next, we want to go to the Object tab here. We're going to hit X-ray so we can see our rig through the mesh. I'm going to tab into Edit mode. I'm going to hit T. I'm going to go to the Options tab and click X-axis mirror so that everything we do on this side will be mirrored on the other side. So let's hit T and N. Get rid of those and let's line these up. The first thing we need to do, though, we aren't going to be needing a thumb or a pinky. So just X and delete those. So only need those three. Let's move these bones into place for the legs. So that joint's there. We move this joint here. This out the way. This joint here. This is going to be the leg setup. Just like an animal. Select all these, move these this way. When I hit Control R and rotate the bone rolls, we can fix that. Okay. So the legs, I want to hit G to grab, move these. And so I can move this bone down more. I want to move this bone up more. This bone up like so. Can move these shoulders like so. This arm with the arm. Can select these. Move these up. R to rotate. G to grab. Let's hit SZ0 just to flatten those out. Hit 7. Let's straighten these out in this view. Let's move these over. And there aren't any joints in his fingers, so we just move them over like so. And we can actually select all the fingers here and just move them down so that they're more aligned in the center with the finger. We can move this over. And we can move this over like so. Okay. Let's move this in some. Go to the face. Face is fairly simple. Select this, move it up, and we have to go to the neck. So these two bones separated, select both of those. The neck is right here. The neck ends right here. The face is right here. There we go. So now, I may make a mistake in this tutorial, and if I do, I will show you how deformation bones. And since it wouldn't generate our fingers, we can just select all these bones here and hit X and delete them. So now, now we can actually go in here, select this bone and this bone here. Delete those two. So I suspected that was going to happen, but I didn't want to just assume that it was going to happen. So now, what we need to do is we're going to rig this character manually. I don't think I've ever done this before or showed you how to do it before, so anyway, So what we're going to do is, this is our mesh, but before we actually parent this rig to the character, we want to make sure that the rig works fine first. So what we're going to do is we're going to, so in edit mode, this is the hand bone. Select the hand bone, hit Shift D to duplicate it, and scale it up. Actually, before you duplicate the hand bone, go to your armature layer here and change the display from octahedral to B-bone. And just select everything and hit Control Alt S. And that'll scale each individual B-bone down. And to deselect everything, now we want to just scale each individual finger B-bone down. So Control Alt S. Do these for that also. Control Alt S. Scale these down. There we go. Since these are just the fingers. Now this is the hand bone. We can hit Control Alt S to scale this down too. Okay, so we're going to hit Shift D. Then we want to hit Control Alt S to scale that up. And then we're going to go to our bone layers here. We're going to name this hand IK.L. And then since the mirror's on the other side, we have to name this bone the same thing. So if you can select it, type in hand IK .R. So there we go. Now we need to make a few stabilizer bones in here, but just for the legs. So select this leg bone here, hit Shift D, R to rotate, G to grab, select this part here, move it down, and then move it back like so. And we're going to name this thigh, stabilizer dot L. What we can do is hover your mouse over here, hit Control C, and then select this bone, hit Control, and then hover your mouse over here, hit Control V, and then double click it, and then we can just change that to R. Make the naming a bit easier. We have to name these bones, or else our constraints that we add later will be more difficult to add. Also, we need to add some tail bones in here. So I want to grab this here. I'm going to hit Shift D, duplicate that, and then I'm just going to select tip here and bring that down here. I'm going to select this bone and I'm going to name this tail. I'm going to hit W and I'm going to subdivide it. And over here in our subdivide, I want to change it to 4 cuts. I'm going to manipulate each cut to match the tail. There we go. I also want to grab this bone. I want to grab this bone. I want to hit Control P and keep offset. So this bone is parented to this bone. Okay. Also, I want this bone. Select this bone. Hit Control P. Whoops. So it was already parented, so that's good. Now, I think for now anyway, that's it. Now what we have to do, at least for these hand IK bones, is you can select them. Okay, select the bone, go to the doggy bone, where it looks like a doggy bone layer here, and turn deform off. We also have to make a foot IK bone. So select the foot, hit Shift D, right click, and then hit Control Alt S to scale it up. And then we're going to name this foot IK.L, and then just hit Control C with your mouse hovered over here. select this foot bone, hit Control V, and just change that from .L to .R. And there we go. Also on these bones here, you want to turn deform off. Okay. You don't want to add any extra bones to the face. When we rig the face in another tutorial, we're going to use shape keys. Okay. So, now tab into object mode. What we're going to do is hit Control Tab, and now we're in pose mode. Now what we want to do is select the hand bone here, and then shift select, or the hand IK bone, then shift select the hand bone, and we're going to hit Control Shift C, and this is our bone constraint menu, and we're going to add a copy rotation constraint to this. So now every time I move my hand bone, the actual hand follows with it. Oh yeah, also tab into edit mode again, hit Alt P on the hand IK bone. In fact, just make sure that the hand IK bone is selected, hit Alt P, and then hit clear parent. So now it can work as the IK. So now what we want to do is, with the hand IK bone selected, select this bone here, hit Control Shift C, and then go to where it says inverse kinematics and click that. Then select this bone and go to the bone constraints menu, and we need to change the chain length of this constraint to 2, and that's it. So now when I grab the hand, move it, you see that the arm follows with it. We need to make a bone over here so that we can have a control over where the elbow is. So we're going to tab into edit mode again. We're going to hit Shift D on this hand bone here, R to rotate it, Control R to fix the roll, R to rotate it again, and just to make sure, hit Alt P, clear parent, and we're going to name this bone elbow. Oops, elbow IK dot R, dot L, my bad. And then hover your oh, I changed the object name, my bad. You want to change the object name to, I guess, Lucario rig. Okay, but the bone actually needs to be elbow IK dot L. There we go. Then we can Control C over that. Go over to this bone, hit Control V, change it from dot L to dot R. And now what we can do is select this bone, then shift select the upper arm, hit Control Shift C, add an inverse kinematics to it, and then select this bone, and we're going to go to our constraint menu here and just have a chain length of 1. So now if we move, when we move this bone around, you see it controls the elbow. So now we can duplicate the exact, so basically do what you did on this side to this side. And I'm going to make a, since I already showed you how to do it on this side, make a time lapse of me doing it on this side. Okay, and there we go. So now on both sides they work the exact same way. So now we need to make constraints for the leg. The idea I have is, first thing, we can delete these, but I want to delete these also. Shift D this, Control Alt S, scale those up. Now I can make this, however, the IK bone, so I want to hit Alt P to clear that parent, and I can name this bone leg IK.L, Control C, select this bone here, Control V, change it to R. And my idea is I can actually turn the constraint on this off. So select this and then select the leg under there, Control Shift C, inverse kinematics. Now take this first one off, and of course you have to change the chain length to 2. It should be affecting, so if I change it to 1, it'll just affect that. Change it to 2 though. I see, because it's using the tail of this. And so what we need to do is come here and we need to uncheck use tail. So there we go. Now it's rotating the whole rig around. So what we need to do is change the chain length back down to 2, and now it's just working with this entire leg here. There we go. And now what we also can do is shift select this, Control C, add a copy rotation. So now it controls the bone as an IK, and it also rotates it. And it gives you a better deformation than what was going on last time. You know what? Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you didn't see the last attempt. So, because I cut it out, but we failed last time. Well, I failed last time, but this one's a lot better. So, Alt-G for that. And basically, we're going to duplicate this setup on this side. Now, if I didn't explain it well enough, I'm just going to re-explain it. Before we do that, though, we have to add this as the pole target to this IK bone. So, we need to go to pole target, select Lucario rig, select the bone, and let's type in, alright, so let's type in knee bone 2, and we can change the pole to, I think it was 80, so type in 80, whoops. Type in 80 and then D for degrees and hit enter, and there you go. So now if we grab this, G to grab, we can move it like so, and then this right here will control the angle of which our knee here is placed, which is perfect. Now in case I cut too much of it out, basically just Shift D, duplicate one of these bones, hit Alt P, and then name this bone knee IK. In fact, I'm actually going to change this to just knee bone. Sorry, my computer keeps doing that because this computer is stupid. I'm going to Control C, duplicate the name, Control V to paste the name. Alright, so now duplicate this setup on this side. So select this bone, shift select the other bone in there, Control Shift C, inverse kinematics, go to the constraints menu, uncheck use tail, chain length is 2, then we want to add a pole target, which is the Lucario rig, the bone is the knee bone.R, and we want to change the pole angle to 80D. Oh, I guess that's not enough for this side, so just keep going up to about there, and there you go. In fact, I actually want to change the pole target on this from 80 to something like 76. So on here the pole angle is 76, and on here the pole angle is 104. So copy these settings and put it all into what you see here, and there we go. Now both legs work fine, except we have to add the copy rotation constraint. So select this and shift select the leg inside the Control C, copy rotation. Now whatever this bone does, the other bone will do, and this also has an IK on it also. And there we go. So that's the legs and the hands. And so in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to rig the fingers.